All right, everybody. Happy Monday, March 29th. And got some good reading to do today. I'm pretty excited about it. I think y'all are going to enjoy it. And we've got our first daily grade of the new 9 weeks today. So it's going to be a good thing to think about and to write about. So today we will focus on reading and imagination because that's what it's all about. And I will use riddle skills, focus on details and connection. For our close, it's our graded discussion question. What do Eric and Ed Wayenmeyer teach us about courage and trust? We'll be explaining and giving details. And we'll get started with that in just a minute. But first, let's do our positive affirmation so we can tell ourselves what to think and what to believe. Say them with me. Those of us in the classroom, come on, let me see your thumb up. You suffer. You're a good person. Come on, Isaiah. There we go. All right. What are you? I am strong, confident, and successful. Yes, we are. And how do you feel about getting work done? I love getting work done, building that muscle, right? And how do we feel about schoolwork? The harder I work, the stronger I become. All righty. So if you go into today's work, I haven't even moved it up. It'll be up to the top at the minute. You move them up and it doesn't always show there. So we're going to do a reading today, graded discussion. If you click on the graded discussion, you can open up your own copy of Summits in Sight. And it's just a 2-page article, but it's got some good information and it really gets you thinking about what you can accomplish. Because a lot of us think, oh, this guy has problems. I see some people on their cell phones in the classroom. Put them aside, please. Yes, I'm talking to you. Put your phones aside, please. Thank you very much. People think, I got problems, so I can't do anything, right? And like, no, that's not right. We all have problems. Some of us have more than others. I'll definitely give you that. But just because we have problems doesn't have to be an excuse to say, okay, I can't do anything anymore. Let me stand outside with a sign saying we'll work for food because I got problems. You don't know how hard I got it. Yeah, you're right, I don't. But does that have to be an excuse to give up? I don't think so. So picture this. Imagine you're 9 or 10 years old and you find out you're going to be blind before you're a teenager. How would you feel if that were you? And by the time you're 12 or 13, you are completely blind. Probably feel sorry for yourself for a little bit, right? I know I would, but we don't have to give up. And this guy sure didn't give up. And he talks about the relationship with him and his dad and how he's learned to work through his difficulties like we all have to work through our difficulties. So this is a great article. This comes from Life magazine by Stephen Madden. And you want to get your own copy open. So I'm going to read the first page or so, and then you'll take over and read the second page on your own. Then you'll be able to answer our discussion question. What do Eric and Ed Wayenmeyer teach us about courage and trust? Explain and give details. And this is a graded discussion, so you should not be able to see other people's posts before yours. The thing is, of course, as usual, there's really no way to get it wrong. As long as you write something that makes sense, you explain, you give details. Like our standard discussion questions, write 4 lines for a 70, 5 for an 80, 6 for a 90, 7 for 100. And of course, once you start reading, you're not going to want to stop. So remember to use your imagination, pay attention to details. And when you do that, right, it comes to life. Answering questions like this is so easy because we love reading and we love being successful. All right, so let's get started. Be sure you have your own copy open so you can take over when I stop. Everybody have the reading in the classroom? Good, good. All right, Summits in Sight by Stephen Madden. One of the country's finest rock climbers is many things: courageous, strong, driven, dutiful, and blind. So yeah, I didn't mention that, did I? He is a rock climber. He climbs up and down the side of mountains. Let's go. By the time Eric Wayenmeyer was 12 years old, The eyesight that had been deserting him was nearly gone. This didn't slow Eric. I'd built a plywood ramp in our driveway to jump my bike over, he remembers. I'd fly 10 feet through the air and bounce when I landed. It was great. One day, he couldn't see well enough to navigate the ramp and fell off its side. I got all cut up on these rocks in our driveway. But his vaulting days were not over. The next day, he found the ramp painted a fluorescent orange. Even I could see it, says Eric, who quickly got back on the bike. His father, Ed, had done the painting, yet another encouragement for his son to persevere. He never said, "You can't do it," says Eric. He figured out a way for me to see it. Then he let me make my own mistakes. For Ed, a former football captain at Princeton and an extremely vital man, it wasn't easy seeing his son scrape his shins on life's obstacles. That's cool figurative language, isn't it? Once Ed watched as Eric ran that bike smack into a parked car. The boy got up, dusted himself off, and pedaled home. Ed never mentioned the incident. Right? Can you imagine being a parent and not saying a word about your kid getting smacked? Only by observing could Ed figure out ways to help. He encouraged Eric to try out for his Connecticut High School's wrestling team, and Eric became a champion. After Blah had completely claimed Eric's sight, Ed enrolled the boy in the outdoors program at the Carroll Center for the Blind in Massachusetts, and soon Eric was climbing New Hampshire's rock faces. He had found a calling. If any of y'all have ever been to the little climbing walls at parks and stuff like that, and you grab hold, it's kind of the same thing, right? You can picture that. Eric became an intrepid adventurer and a superb rock climber. He hiked all over the world, often with his father in attendance. On June 27th, 1995, Helen Keller's birthday, right? Helen Keller's the blind and deaf lady that did so much. Eric conquered Alaska's 20,320-foot Mount McKinley. As he ascended, his dad circled the peak in a plane to share the experience. In 1996, Ed, that's the dad, right, hiked to the top of Yosemite's El Capitan to greet Eric, who had spent 4 days climbing the sheer rock face. Ed wasn't with Eric for his marriage proposal to Ellen Reeve atop Arizona's 2,700-foot Camelback Mountain last year, but was there as Eric and Ellen wed 13,000 feet up Tanzania's Mount Kilimanjaro. Last winter, Eric joined Ed, a former Marine aviator who flew more than 100 missions over Vietnam, on a 1,200-mile cycle trek through that country. At one point, Eric, riding behind Ed on a tandem bike, teased, "You know, Dad, I ride and hike with you, but you never come rock climbing with me. I think you owe me." "Tell me where and when," Ed replied. All right, so we're going to see how the dad, Ed, does rock climbing and how they continue to help each other out. So once again, you're going to finish reading to the end on your own. We're on paragraph 8 on page 2. And then once you're done, what do Eric and Ed Way and Mayer teach us about courage and trust? Explain and give details. Let's get to it. Let's get it done. And we can talk about some of our answers towards the end of class.